Well, it's a beautiful day. I'm looking outside my window, admiring the trees in my apartment here. And um, what can I say? I suffer from anxiety. This morning, today being the 21st of March, 2019, I woke up. And within many minutes, I started developing anxiety. It's a condition I've had for a very long time. Well, technically, I do not exactly suffer from anxiety so much, but I suffer from panic attacks. I just thought I'd come here and vent my thoughts on my digital diary. And for those that don't know, my children who might be seeing this video someday or whatever, I've been suffering from panic attacks for about 6 years now. I know what caused it. It was a combination of factors, but in case you don't know, well, anxiety is an emotion characterized by an unpleasant state of inner turmoil. If you don't know what inner turmoil is, look, it can be pretty horrific. It is the subjectively state of the mind associated of dread with over anticipated events. It brings forth a feeling of imminent death, and it's not exactly the same as fear, but panic attacks are. Whenever I have a panic attack, it lasts for a duration of no less than 2.5 or 3 hours. I've had panic attacks lasting me 6 hours in the past. And look, when you have a panic attack for that long, when you have a panic attack period, you literally can't do anything. You just stay there in panic, in your comfort zone, just like with these thoughts all over your mind. Now, fear itself is a response to real or perceived immediate threat, whereas anxiety involves the expectation of future or present threat, present being the operative word. Now, anxiety is a feeling of uneasiness and worry. Some people think it's no big deal, but some people it affects others differently. You got to remember that. It's usually generalized as unfocused or an overreaction to a situation that has been perceived subjectively as menacing. I usually have panic attacks all the time, and it's usually triggered by any thoughts of being well known or talked about or conspired against. And I do have quite an overactive mind. I tend to think that I can even predict what people talk behind my back, and that just drives me insane. Excuse me. Anxiety is also related to a number of flight or flight responses, avoidance behavior, defensive behavior, just trying to escape out of the hell you're into as well. It occurs in situations only perceived as an uncontrollable or unavoidable, but not realistically so. Now, panic attacks, which is what I usually have, I can usually tell a panic attack is coming within 10 to 15 minutes. So if I'm outside the house, outdoors, I have to usually call an Uber or an Ola cab or a taxi and make my way home, because the fears that the impulses I get are very scary. If I'm in a train station, boarding a train or whatever, I get a flood of thoughts if I'm having a panic attack, and I just want to jump in front of the train or do other things or push someone, or some people get violent. I do not get violent of anxiety or panic attacks, but I do get impulses to expose myself in inappropriate ways, To date, I managed to control it very well, but it's very scary. And well, panic attacks. Some people say they're sudden periods of fear that may include palpitations, sweating, shaking, shortness of the breath, and numbness. What else? Just a feeling that something terrible is going to happen. But it's not a sudden period for me, believe me. It's ongoing. I mean, this week so far, I had about 12 hours of panic attacks, and I'm in panic. Luckily, I wasn't home, and I lost count of how many hours this week I've been anxious, which is not too often for it to happen to me. I mean, anxiety is not that bad in comparison to a panic attack, but when I have a panic attack, if you're a friend or family seeing this video for some reason, I do not show what I go through inside my mind, inside my feelings, my body. I usually stand quiet, keep to myself, but quite a few people who suffer from panic anxiety disorders feel the same way. I remember this person I used to study with at the Edith Cowan University. His name was Liam Fagan. He had panic and anxiety attacks. At the time, I did not understand the full scope of it, of what went through his mind, but I understood quite a lot when I understood the general gist of it. But it's not until you feel it that you understand and you can relate to the sheer horror that it truly is. There's many different levels, who knows? But I sometimes shake. I never sweat on a panic attack. Shortness of breath. Well, I'm too focused on what's going inside my mind that I do not really sense any shortness of breath. But this week, I did have a bit of a heart palpitation just for a little while. It doesn't usually happen. Now, the maximum degree of symptoms occurs within a few minutes. As I said, it usually takes 10 to 15 minutes before I feel it. And I just hope that there is a cure. I have approached some more doctors. I mean, sad thing is, my acting doctors and GPs, I have a few, they think that just going back to the same medication I tried in the past will solve it, but it won't. I know what I need. I did my research. I have to try it. But it'll be a fair few weeks if accepted. Now, people who have repeated or persistent attacks often feel severe anxiety about having another said given disorder. Sometimes if I start feeling anxiety, I start worrying immediately that I'm going to get a panic attack. But I can usually tell if I'm going to have a panic attack. Now, panic attack disorder, it is a disorder, but it's not hereditary. It's caused by traumatic instances. Panic anxiety disorders are different than anxiety disorders in that attacks are often sudden and unprovoked. And yes, believe me, when I have a panic attack, I usually have no reason to have one. I just have one out of the blue, no trigger, no nothing. So it's impacting me in many ways. Yesterday, I got offered a job that I could work from home. And I've been looking for work from home jobs for quite a while because I don't trust myself working in a work environment. I have a panic attack, bam, 3 hours gone of work utility. Now, I had to reject this job because it was full-time and very intensive, working from home, and it entailed me dealing with clients over the phone, booking orders or doing whatever. But if I have a panic attack, I'm out of commission for 3 hours, and I can't perform. And if you can't perform, you can't work. But fingers crossed, I have a few other employers who are considering me for more flexible work from home. I am trying to get some freelancing gigs again on Freelancing Network. I used to do that before. Problem is, on freelancing networks, it's very competitive when you're competing against people in Pakistan and India and other countries that charge next to nothing. Of course, they can't do as good job as me, but it's a very competitive field, freelancing. Yeah. So, how much time has passed? About 10 minutes. How long can I make this go for? Um, I guess situations can heighten the probability of developing anxiety. I mean, being the focus of attention in a public venue. A few weeks ago, last week, I had a movie director approach me to maybe star in a series as an actor, but that'd be very problematic because it's supposed. I mean, I don't see fame in the slightest, and I doubt I'd be famous from starring as an actor or an extra in a movie series. But the very aspect of being known can be pretty terrifying. Uh, yeah, so daily life can be quite difficult. What goes through my mind? What goes through me when I have anxiety? Well, the fear of losing the plot and going insane, sense of impending doom. I get a flood of thoughts, mental disarray to the extreme, every fear manifesting itself inside my mind, and the inability to calm down. So, yeah, that's panic attacks, that's anxiety. I guess I will proceed with my day ahead. I have an engagement in town, a Bible study session of a dinner, and I'll survive. I hope I can make it. Okay, the time is 12:27 p.m., 28 now, and over and out.